Hey guys, and welcome back to Graphic Designer Pro. In this video we're going to show you an easy way to apply some rough edges to your designs in Adobe Illustrator. Let's head onto the computer now and we'll show you how to do this. Okay, so before we start, you can download this exact same free template from the link in the description and work along with us as we recreate these two logos. Now, as you can see, these are just kind of made up companies here. We've got a coffee company logo here, and you can see we have this kind of rough edged effect applied to it. This is the same down with this wine company logo. Although the text is clean and straight edged, we have this wine stain icon here that we've also applied a rough edge to. So this is really easy to do. We're going to move over to our other artboard here where we have the basis for creating these. We've essentially just typed out these two sections of text and outlined them. So in the template file, you'll get this exact same template to work with. So we'll start with the coffee logo first. Now, the first thing we need to do is create the kind of coffee bean that we have over here. If we go back over to our example, it's really easy to recreate this, and I'll show you a quick and easy way to do this. I'm going to grab my ellipse tool over on the left hand side, and I'm just going to drag out, holding Alt to scale from the middle, a rough oval shape. Now I'm just going to grab my line segment tool, and from the middle, again, if I just use my smart guides to snap to the middle of this oval, holding Alt and Shift to lock this to a perfectly vertical line here, I'm just going to drag out a line over the middle. I'll give this just a random color here just to make it stand out, and I'm just going to give this a bit more stroke weight. And I'm actually going to use another effect here, so this isn't the effect that we're going to be focusing on, but if I go up to the effect menu, go down to distort and transform, and you can see we have a zigzag option. Now if I click preview, you can see we can create an easy zigzag with this line here. However, I'm going to choose the smooth option. Now you can see we have the size of the zigzag, so I can knock this down and make it slightly more subtle, which is what I'll do in this scenario. And I'm going to change the ridges per segment. I'm going to take this down a touch, so I'll probably go with something like this. We can maybe bump the size up a bit more, click OK. And now I want to expand this zigzag, so I'm just going to select it. We'll go up to Object, Expand Appearance, and you can see it's not outlining it yet. However, we do have the path following this zigzag effect now. If I go back up to Object and click Expand again, then click OK, you can see we can now outline this stroke. Now all I'm going to do is select this and the oval behind, and over on our Pathfinder panel, I'm just going to apply the minus front, and we're left with this coffee symbol. Now we already have some color swatches set up, so I'm just going to change this now. So I'm just going to select one of them, and we'll drag this over the circle that we already have here. I'm just going to select both of these and make sure they are aligned with my align tools. So I'll make sure they're horizontally and vertically aligned. Make this slightly bigger, and I'll rotate it 45 degrees. Okay, so now we're ready to apply the Ruffen effect. So this is a really good tool to use if we want to create a little bit of texture and give our designs a more hand-done artisanal look, which is perfect for a logo like this. So I'm going to do this element by element, and I'll show you why. So we'll grab our circle first, go up to Effect, and under Distort and Transform, you can see we have a Ruffen option. So I'll click this. Again, we'll click Preview first, and you can see it's looking mental to begin with, and that's because we just need to adjust some of these settings. So first and foremost, I'm going to change this to Smooth again, and we have our size value at the top. So this is a percentage at the moment. We have a checkbox for Relative and Absolute. So Relative will change the size to a percentage of the shape that we're dealing with. If I change this to absolute, you'll see this changes to a pixel value. So it does depend on the size of the shape we're dealing with, the kind of look we can create. I'm going to take the detail right down, go to about 3, and actually I think this is looking okay. I'll maybe take the size down to 4 pixels and click OK. So we're still getting the general feel of a circle, but it's just got a slightly rougher look to it. Move on to the coffee bean now. Again, go to Effect and Ruffen. Again, go to Effect, Distort and Transform, Ruffen. We'll click the preview again, and again I'm going to opt for the smooth option. We'll say absolute. We'll take the size value further down on this one, maybe to 2 pixels, and again just take the detail down, just trying to keep this quite subtle. Click OK, and I think that will do for now. Now you can see if I click on either of these objects that we still have our original paths visible here, so we still have the perfect circle. If I click on the coffee bean, you can see we still have the original paths, but as it stands I'm happy with how this is looking. looking, so I'm actually just going to select both of these, go up to Object and Expand Appearance, and you can see the path will now change to the Ruffen effect that we've applied. I'm just going to change the color of this circle now. Okay, and we can also do this to text. So obviously I've outlined this text. I'm just going to go back up to Effect, Distort and Transform, Ruffen, click Preview. Again, I'm just going to change this to Absolute, and we'll just try and make this slightly more subtle, potentially even down to 1 pixel. And the detail is really just adding more paths and anchor points, so it's making the effect more detailed. I think for something like a logo, we want to keep the detail lower if we can, keep it more simplified looking. And note, if I change this to smooth, we do get a slightly different look here. It doesn't handle corners incredibly well, the smooth option, so if I was to choose this, I'd probably have to go and alter the corners after expanding it to make them sit a bit better. So for this one, I'm going to actually just stick with the corner option, click OK, and you can see we can get this nice rough looking text. So I'll do the same here. I'm going to go up to Object, Expand Appearance, and then I'll change the color as well. And that's the first logo done. So moving on, we've got our wine logo to do, and you can see here we've just got a simple circle with a stroke applied to it, so no fill or anything. And this is just a quick and easy way I've found that we can create this wine glass stain look. To do this, I use the eraser tool, but you'll notice if I try and use the eraser tool right now, I basically want to just create some breaks in this circle. So if I try and do this by just clicking on the circle, you can see because this is a closed path, it's actually just going to knock the shape of the eraser out of the circle. So what I need to do, press Command Z to undo, and instead I'm going to grab our scissors tool, and I'm just going to click on this bottom anchor point. It can really be anywhere along this path, but by clicking, all I've done is opened this path. So if I grab my direct selection tool and click and drag on one of these anchor points, you can see it's now an open path. I can now go back to my eraser tool, and if I press the left or right brackets on my keyboard, I can change the size of this. So I'll go with this, and I'm just going to delete some sections along here. So I'll go with that for now. Select all of it. Now I want to go up to my stroke options, and under the variable width profile drop down, if I click this, you can see we have a few options to choose from. I'm just going to select the first one up at the top here, and you can see that's going to kind of taper the ends of each section of the stroke here. Lastly, I'm just going to bump up the stroke width here. Okay, we'll go with something like this for now. Now I want to expand this, so I want to outline the stroke, so I'm going to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and you can see we now have outlined strokes. And I'm going to select all of this, grab my direct selection tool, and I'm just going to round off the corners a bit here just to give it a slightly softer look. Just clicking our corner widget tool here, select all of this again. We'll go back up to our effect menu, distort and transform, and then Ruffen, click preview. Again, we want to check the smooth option here. We'll change this to absolute, and again I'm just going to take the size value down a touch. We'll take the detail down on this one as well. I'll click OK, and you can see this has done a pretty good job of just giving it that rough, uneven look. Again, Object, Expand Appearance, and I'm just going to group this together as well, so just Command G to group it together. I'm going to double click on our fill option here and just give this a kind of light red pink color for this example. I'll go with this, and I'll just roughly position this, and I'll send it to the back, so just Shift, Command and the left bracket to send this behind the text here. And lastly, I'll just change this to another color, so we'll go with a bluish grey here, and there you have it. So there you have a very simple way of applying some rough edges to your designs in Adobe Illustrator. If you have any questions or would like to see any further examples, do let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and if you'd like to know more about our full graphic design course, visit graphicdesignerpro.com. See you next time.